First time on the show, so it'll be first time, long time. Anything else on his mind? Not in his mind. On his mind in the world of soccer. Be a part. This is me like producing at the same time and doing all kinds of social media of the conversation. Be a part of the conversation. If I could type with my fingers, that would be fantastic. I have fatter fingers than normal when it comes to keyboards. Part of the conversation at SdH, YouTube, X, Twitch, and NSBN. So NSBN Sports. If I could spell and keep everything off of everything. Oh, yeah. I cannot type today at all. So I don't have to type. We're going to bring in somebody who's a better typer than I am. I can guarantee it. We're going to go to parts unknown and find out what is going on the mind of @Tomapapa on the Twitter. Again, Carlos, what is up, my friend? Thanks for dropping by the morning show.
Thank you for the invitation.
First and foremost, you know that you can come by anytime. Now that you have the keys to the kingdom, you know, you got the garage. You got the garage door opener now. You know where we put the key under the mat. You know you can come in and crash at all times. Since you are in parts unknown, where exactly are you, sir?
I am in San Jose, California. A good, I want to say, 15 minutes away from Levi Stadium, where Turkey and Paraguay will play today.
Whoa! You're up at 7 o'clock in the morning, hanging out with us.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the level of commitment we have here in the West Coast.
Man, well, and as a West Coastie, I can definitely agree. I was born in Lakewood. I'm one of those SoCal kids, so I'm right there with you. Angels fan, don't hold it against me. That's kind of how I was raised. I know. We're awful. Don't get me started about Artie Moreno. That's a different show.
Yeah.
What have your travel plans been like so far here in the tournament? Where have you gone? What have you seen?
Well, I'm staged here. I'm based here in Santa Clara, so I'm just covering the two teams based here. That would be Australia and Paraguay.
Got it.
And all 6 games that have been or will be played here. That means Qatar, Switzerland, and Austria, Jordan. I got the Turkey-Paraguay match today with Telemundo, so that's my schedule as of now until July 1st. After July 1st, it is TBD, so I don't know what the schedule has in store for me after that. Round of 32 match that we all expect will be Team USA here.
And see, now you're going to sit there and you're going to ask, hey, so I'm cool. I don't have to go anywhere. I'm already locked in. It's like, I don't have to go anywhere. I'll cover that one for you.
Yeah.
Since you're going to be doing Turkey and Paraguay today, we'll start there. Then we'll get into the hosts and all that kind of stuff. What has study hall been like getting ready for this one? It's 3 versus 4 in Group D, and it's win now, or you're pretty much packing it up, and match day 3 is just kind of be there for you.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are very much in desperation mode. I had the chance to go to the press conferences yesterday for both Vincenzo Montella, the Turkey head coach, and for Paraguay as well, who I have been more in contact with because, well, they're here. And the vibe I get is very similar, John, in this sense. There was much more conversation about pressure and media injustice or coverage injustice or unnecessary, even unhealthy expectations from media environments on both countries that then bleeds over to what's happening here. Yeah. And I found interesting both Montella and Alfaro were talking about, let's be fair with the kids and the players and let's protect them. And even Montella said there's chaos in Turkey that is unheralded. It's unnecessary at this stage of the tournament. So I just found it very interesting. I think it's going to be a pressure cooker for both, even more so because of the fact that they will be playing after what Team USA does earlier in the first window of the day. Yeah. So that is going to have a say in what the match will mean for all of the involved. No matter what happens, Australia's got another life, not so much so for Turkey and or Paraguay, because if there's a winner here, then whoever loses the match is pretty much out of the tournament, right? Especially if it's Turkey, because they would have lost against Australia, against Paraguay, and then Team USA is through. So because of now the seeding and the tiebreakers, if you have lost to Australia and Paraguay, and then Team USA is already through, if they beat Australia, then you're pretty much cooked. So I expect a pressure cooker of a game for both. They both say it's a final, and I agree with that statement.
So then you mentioned the head-to-head and staring at the big dog right now at the top of the group. And the first match of the day is going to be up the coast in Seattle. I still call it Lumen. I'm still getting used to this whole city thing of
I'm with you.
Seattle Stadium. But I will give the Jeans folks the fantastic marketing idea that they did. It's like, you got to cover your logo. It's like, okay, we'll cover the logo, but the tarp will be form-fitting. And that's branding 101, and I love that. With the U.S. and Paraguay, obviously, study hall for you. With Paraguay was staring at match number 1 going up against the United States. We still don't know what Christian Pulisic's status is. When you look at the U.S. going into this matchup against Australia, that they're not taken for granted because they can't.
Yeah.
What have you seen so far from the U.S. that has stuck with you? What are you anticipating today for match 1?
I think they were the best team in round 1. So if we just break this down by stages, and stage 1 ended a couple of days ago with that England, Croatia, and Ghana, Panama, and Colombia, Uzbekistan. That was the first cut, if you will.
Yeah.
I think of that first round, Team USA was the best team of the tournament because of who they were playing against, because of the scene that they had to overcome. It's home soil. It's the pressure cooker of, the inauguration, the whole scenery, the whole pomp and circumstance of that event. And we heard Mexico coach Javier Aguirre say that he had 3 players cramping up after that first game because of what it meant. So I don't think people really understand what it all entails for a player to listen to the national anthem and listen to Katy Perry, and it's months and months of buildup and expectation to go out there, John, and perform the way that Team USA did against a team that, since Alfaro took over in the CONMEBOL or South American qualifiers, only gave up 6 goals against, and to score 4 times against that team, the high pressure, the level of consistency and physical dominance against a very physical team, to me, was very impressive. Now, for today, if Christian can't go, and I said last night on my radio show here in San Francisco that the only way he plays, if I'm Pochettino, the only way Christian plays today is if he is 100% physically good to go. If he is 95%, you don't play. If you don't rush him, you don't risk him, because they have enough in the tank and depth-wise to beat Australia. If I would much rather see Tim Weah out there today, which is what I think will happen if Christian can't go. Have Tim out there on the left flank, and the rest of the team remains untouched from the Paraguay match. That's more than enough with Seattle behind them, with the raucous noise environment, with all that stage behind them. That should be more than enough to overtake and beat Australia.
And you mentioned Paraguay, and in match day number 1, the United States, and I've tried to explain it to folks at points. It's not quite Bielsa and Nolan Richardson on steroids, basically.
Right.
It's not quite 90 minutes of hell, but you saw them pressure Paraguay, and literally it's like you wanted to press them out of the building and force them into decisions that they were uncomfortable in making, and then creating things, short fields and such. I'm intrigued, and I'm kind of drifting back and forth here with how Paraguay handles Turkey, because of what happened the first time, and how their adjustments are going to be, and how wound up they're going to be going into this loser leave town match that's going to happen later tonight.
Yeah, and same goes for Turkey, because if they lose, I mean, the fact that whoever loses this, the Australia victory over Turkey has sent this group into a frenzy, right? No one had that victory, at least not that I know of, except maybe Australians had that win on their schedule. But I think what both Montella and Alfaro are going through today is, who are we really, and who is our opponent really? Do we, if I'm Paraguay, is the real Turkey, it's the Slim Shady conundrum. Will the real Turkey please stand up? So is Turkey against, is that the real Turkey, or the one we saw only 3 points behind Spain on qualifiers? And Turkey's asking, is that Paraguay against Team USA the real Turkey, or will the real Paraguay please stand up and it will be that defensively minded, soundly coached, tactically driven, physically imposing team who had the same points as Brazil. And which one is it? So they're both, and because of that question, do we over adjust?
Yeah.
Do we overcorrect? Or do we just stay the course and be who we think we are? And that's the conundrum both coaches, I think, face in a short tournament where everything matters more because you don't have the games that you might have in qualifiers to, tinker and adjust and find ways to, find solutions.
El Tri last night.
No.
That was a hopping environment, and it's always fun for me because I'm a sicko. I will stay up late. I will watch everything late, and then I've got to get up early and do things. And I'm not a morning person, so literally, someone who's not a morning person doing a morning show after a late night. Those are always fun combinations. My BS coefficient is very, very low. Last night, what did you think of El Tri, where you're going up against Korea Republic? The purple kits, by the way, those were strong. I really love those. You had a moment, and that's what the tournament is, really. It's a bunch of moments. You had a moment from the Korea Republic keeper that creates the one opportunity, and that's by the end of it all, really, that's all you needed. But what did you think about how El Tri handled themselves last night?
It was a very grown-up game. It was a very mature game by Mexico for many reasons. I've said many times, John, that I think over the past 28, 30 years, going back to 96, right, the birth of MLS, if you go to the 98 World Cup, if you look at that tournament and fast forward to today, I think the three nations that have grown the most from a national team standpoint are Morocco, Japan, and South Korea. Morocco they shared a group with Brazil back in 1998, and they had no business being in that match. Fast forward to 26, they should have won against Brazil. Japan, they were pretty much a nice Cinderella story. Oh, here come the Asians who are we were talking about cartoons and how they have this show and Benji. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
And then South Korea, they're fast, they're strong, their center backs can beat you any way you can. They're playing in Germany, in Bayern Munich, in PSG, in Kangin Lee, and they're really physically imposing. So Mexico knew they had to survive the game. They had to tactically be sound, not give away any space behind their back line. They're missing Cesar Montes, who had that dumb red card against South Africa. Edson Alvarez hasn't played that much football because he was injured with Fenerbahce, and he was playing right center back in that four-back line with a new right back in Jorge Sanchez. So that whole right side of the back line was new for this match. Javier Aguirre, who I think is the best coach in Mexican history, knew whoever made a mistake would win the game. And South Korea made the mistake. They lost the game. So it was a very grown-up, very mature understanding of situation. You had South Africa tie with Czechia earlier the day, so they knew if they won, they would go through as group leaders. So now they have it's really tempting for you to relax, John, because, hey, if we win, we're through as group leaders, so we can relax and stay Azteca for the rest of the tournament, or at least until round of 16. So, again, mature, poised, tactically sound. Plus, it was a historically important game, John, because it was the first time ever that Mexico played a World Cup match in Guadalajara. They played Mexico City. In 1970, they played in Toluca. In 86, they played in Monterrey. That never played in Guadalajara, which is a soccer frenzied part of the country. So there were a lot of condiments there for them to go emotionally bankrupt, and I thought it was really mature.
This is your fifth World Cup, right?
Sixth.
Wow,
yeah.
Good on you.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you to see the game continue to grow and evolve the way that it has, where we're having these discussions about the game in the Far East and how everyone's catching up with all the big guns. What's it been like for you to see the game get to this point where we got to know about everybody who's coming in because you never know who's going to come up and bite you?
Yeah, that's fascinating. It's why it's the biggest sport on the planet. It's why when some things, it's funny because you go back to 1994 when the Bossman Law came into existence in Europe, and that just unlocked so many opportunities for players to go to Europe. For those of you who don't understand, before 1994, teams in Europe could only use players as foreign players. There were only 3 per country, and the Euro zone allowed people. If I'm a dentist and I'm from Belgium, I could work as a native in Spain because of the Eurozone. That didn't apply in football. And this guy called Jan-Marc Bosman from Belgium said, hey, why can a dentist work as a national in Spain or Portugal, but not a football player? Makes no sense. And he was right. So from that point on, that's why if you're Italian playing in Spain, you're not a foreign player. You're just a Euro player. So that unlocks so many chances for you to become a national, quote unquote, non-foreign player in Europe. So now you're seeing Cameroonians and Ghanaians and Venezuelans and Colombians with a dual citizenship play as a national in Europe versus being a foreign player. So you don't have to go through all the hoops to play as a national. Having said that, then it's the money, right? So you're seeing Qatar leagues and Saudi Arabia leagues and bring all this money so their leagues become more competitive and their native players become more familiarized with what really pro football looks and feels like. So you're seeing Qatar, even though they got what's handed to them by Canada last night, they drew against Switzerland on match day 1. And then you see the growth of MLS, which for us is huge, right? I think it's the biggest injection of growth internationally, even more so than the Saudi League or the Qatar League, because MLS has grown the game for Canada, and Team USA has grown the game for players to come here and develop, right? It's fascinating. I mean, look at Canada, man. Canada had a proper thumping of what they knew was a lower tier team at home after they drew against Bosnia game 1 in Toronto. So it's really fascinating to see. Look at Cape Verde and look at what Congo did against Portugal. How do you not love the growth of the game?
I am right there with you. It's like I said, I'm a sicko. We've got here in Atlanta at Atlanta Stadium, still Mercedes-Benz to me.
Yeah.
The last day of the group stage, we've got DR Congo and Uzbekistan downtown.
Yeah.
That is, under normal circumstances, a sicko's delight. But considering everything that's going to be on the line in that one may end up evolving into 2 sickos teams in must-see television in a window that could determine who goes on to the knockouts out of the group stage, with 2 of your minnows, Uzbekistan under Fabio Cannavaro, who's never been here before, and DR Congo, who hasn't been here in over 50 years, getting all of that history attached to it in a must-win game for 2 teams that you would have sat there and it's like, well, who are these 2? But it gives you a reason to watch. And I love how everyone is just kind of coming in and around on itself and being able to be educated on all these places that you wouldn't know about before.
And that's a great point, John. And because of what that game could mean, right? You're going to have maybe Uzbekistan and Congo fighting for or jousting for a 3rd place spot. That because of both, especially because of Congo tying against Portugal, that match can mean that either Uzbekistan or Congo go through as a 13th place or 3rd place team. So you're seeing teams waiting to see, hey, am I facing Congo or another team from another group? Maybe you might be, who knows what happens against Colombia and Portugal, who will be playing at that same time in Miami. So it's fascinating. And I'm with you. The other thing is I'm really pleasantly surprised at the assistance and the overall attendance to stadiums.
Yeah.
I did not expect to see Switzerland and Qatar with 68,000 people in Santa Clara. I did not expect Jordan and Austria to give us 68,000 strong at Santa Clara Stadium, San Francisco Bay Area Stadium. I did not. We were saying, hey, maybe 40,000, maybe 35. No, man, it's a San Francisco 49ers game. It's what it is. It's and the Jordan fans were awesome. I mean, tonight's game is going to be crazy with Paraguay and Turkey, how the Turkish travel. But there's an Algeria Jordan match that if you saw the schedule, you would be going like, yeah, who's going to watch this game? Like, who's going to, you know what? After what I saw from Algeria and the Jordan fans here, I can't wait. It's phenomenal. I was a 48-team World Cup hater.
Yeah.
I love it. I hope it stays at 48. I think 64 would be too much, to be honest. But I think 48 is a sweet spot between, hey, we get 4 stage group matches a day. We have enough good teams that, Japan's good, Morocco's good, South Korea's good. And we also have our Curaçaos and Qatar saying, oh, they're kind of trash, but they're interesting, and they might give you a Switzerland-Qatar match. So I think that's the sweet spot, right? Let's keep it there.
But I think at the same time, when we get to the field of 48, how are these nations that are 33 to 48,
right?
How are they going to learn about being on the world stage if they don't have this kind of an opportunity? I mean, when Curaçao got the equalizer against Germany, that building turned. I mean, it was like it's 1-1 to Godvakat, 78 years young. He's sitting there, and everybody's, the neutrals are sitting there going, hey, man. But then, of course, Germany put the pedal down. But to have those moments like we've been having, how do you get those minnows to learn about being on the world stage if you don't have an expanded field?
That's a great point. Plus, if you look at qualifiers, right, and who's not here, right? If I told you, replace Bosnia with Italy.
Yeah.
Replace Curaçao with Costa Rica, right? Who should be here. Or replace Tunisia with Cameroon or Nigeria. Or replace, I don't know, Iraq with, another.
Someone from Oceania who made it through the qualifier.
Yeah, New Zealand. Well, they made it through, but I don't know. So it just becomes a more interesting tournament. And you're always going to get those teams that are going to get thrashed and thumped. It's been the World Cup forever. Go back to 94. Bolivia had no business being here. And South Korea had no business being here. You go back to 98, Jamaica was made fun of. They were the fun story of the tournament. We always have those teams. Go back to a couple years ago or tournaments ago, John. Panama was just happy to be here. Now they're upset because they had a legitimate chance at beating Ghana or at least drawing a point, and they lost it on, the midnight of the game. So, it's growth.
I know I'm in added time with you. I've just got one more question, and then we'll cut the promo, and then you can go get breakfast. And if you need a note to get back into class,
no, I'm good. I'm good.
Bruce Arena signs a contract extension.
Yeah.
What's been the feedback on that? I mean, was that a surprise that he's now through 29? I think. What's the feedback?
I think, and he made a joke out of it because of his age. He said there's a death clause in the contract that if I die, it becomes void. So, I think the surprise is the fact that he got rid of who he got rid of, right? Yeah. Espinoza and Chicho and Joseph, who you know well, and I know really well. And the fact that you get rid of or replace a guy like Espinoza, who is a phenomenal player, who did not want to leave the Bay Area, but felt if I want to, I've been here long enough, 7 years is long enough. I want to compete elsewhere. I want to just win, have a chance to win. And he might get that chance with Nashville. We here who cover the Quakes were like, what, how's this team going to score? Where's the firepower? This team's too young. They don't have enough individual talent up top. Then they signed Werner, like, okay, that's a great signing. But we didn't, especially on defense, because they didn't bring in anyone on defense. You are asking yourself, are they just going to run it back with Daniel on goal and Muni and Ricketts and Paul Marie and who? And Preston Judd's going to be your 9? Really? Okay. Well, good luck with that. And I think they really benefit from the World Cup break because they were just leaking oil from the Nico Shakiris injury and the Werner injury. Before those two got hurt, the team was, I think, if not the best team in MLS with Nashville and Inter Miami and Vancouver. They beat Vancouver in Vancouver 1-0. So it's not a surprise. I think because some people are ageist, and you're saying, hey, he's the oldest coach in MLS. He doesn't really have any innovative ways to think about the sport. He's really old school. And is that going to really work well with the younger generation of coaches and players? It does. Is it attractive? No. Is it effective? Yes. And if you have physically, his teams need to be physically fit. They're going to outrun you every single match. And look at the games, how they're winning the games, John. They're physically stamina. Their stamina is just better than anyone else. You have fast center backs. Daniel Muni is the fastest center back in MLS. Bo LaRue is the next export out of San Jose. That kid does not belong in MLS. He should go play in Europe. At some point, they're going to sell him, and good for him. He's a phenomenal football player. Phenomenal. He understands everything. He sees everything. He's going to be a mainstay in Team USA for years to come. I hope. We'll see what Tillman and that line does from Team USA, but he's just a phenomenal player. And Shaqiri's now got the keys handed to him. So he is a proper 10. Another great talent. I love him. So it is surprising, not the extension, but the fact that this team is so good as it is. It's a shocker. It's the Cinderella story of the MLS season so far.
That's why I wanted to ask you about it. If you would please, sir, before you head to breakfast, cut the promo for everything that is everything at Tomapapa. Let everybody know where they can hang out with you 24/7, 365, and what you're doing with the World Cup, if you would.
Well, thank you, John. First of all, thank you for the invite. I loved it. Let's do it again whenever you want. I'm game. I will be in the East Coast permanently and after the World Cup. I'm moving to Miami, so that's going to be fun.
Okay.
After a good 7-year span here in the Bay. You can find me at Tomapapa, Tomapapa. For you, those of you who don't know what that is, that's what I shout out when I do play-by-play in Spanish and someone scores a goal. That's my goal. You can find me on Apple TV calling the games both in Spanish and English for MLS on Apple TV. I'm doing sideline reporting for Telemundo in the World Cup for the 6 matches, at least for the first 6 matches played here in Santa Clara. So you can catch me tonight with a great staff with Roque Santa Cruz and Diego Lugano. He'll be here for the game with Copan Alvarez, and Pepe del Bosque will be here calling that game, Paraguay-Turkey. So every match here from Telemundo or with Telemundo in Santa Clara, I'll be your sideline reporter. I'm doing everything with MLS. I do also NFL with NFL Network International. I host the Spanish podcast for NFL International called Trend Zone. So yeah, I'm doing a bunch of stuff.
Go get breakfast if you would, please, and get your morning coffee. It was great to see you, and I was stunned when you told me that you're out there. I was like, "Whoa, he's up like way the heck early." I mean, full credit to you. You have look. I throw my hands in the air. You're a better man than I for the crack of dawn and answering silly questions from a guy with golden retriever brain. Go get breakfast. Have a great call. Enjoy the things. May all of the words come out right, and may all of the equipment work properly, so no one has any kind of lag, and you're not wondering what did dude just say to me as he was tossing to me. Am I tossing the break? What am I doing? Get out of here, my friend.
Amen. Thank you, John.
You bet. There he goes, Carlos Mauricio Ramirez. That was cool. That's his first cap with us for the morning show. Man, I didn't realize that he was out there. Oh gosh, I hate it when we get folks rolling them out of bed early first thing in the morning, because like I said, I give him full credit. I give Carlos full credit for, if I was getting that kind of a call at like 7:30 in the morning, I would be just sideways.